Welcome back to another episode of the G's for Geek podcast.
This is your host, Charlie Radio Williams. And this is Seanluc.
Welcome back to another episode of the G's for Geek podcast.
Okay. All right, something's happening now.
I can hear you guys.
Well, let's hope it's recording.
It's definitely recording right now.
I gotta hear you guys go with the recording. Is it recording? Are we
Yes.
Are we live?
We're live, guys.
We're live.
We're
Okay,
live.
good.
We're
All
so
right.
live I can hear my phone. That's how
Okay.
live we are.
We're live. Make it sexy, guys.
I don't have any sexiness for you guys.
You have tons of it.
Oh, come on. You're bringing sexy back.
S for sexy.
No, I'm not. I don't have any sexy I could be bringing back. Any sexy.
Bringing sexy back.
I'm at a point where I feel my least sexiest, and as a guy, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I feel my least sexiest right now. Yeah.
When do you feel sexy?
I don't know.
Me neither.
I don't know. But I think you should go into the intro.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the G's for Geek podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Radio Williams.
And this is Seanluc.
And Hannibal.
Okay. So I don't know where this was going, but yeah, right now I personally don't feel sexy. And I know what it is. It's one part of me trying to get back into a physical place. Where physically I feel, like comfortable in like the clothes that I wear. Physically, I feel comfortable in, the activities I do. I'm not heavy breathing when I'm climbing upstairs, which I think it happens at times for some people. So right now, that's just where I'm at. Yeah.
It's funny with the holiday season, how you think it's supposed to be the happiest time and everyone is just a little tense. There's something going on with so many different people.
Fuck that. I feel like everybody around me is either fucking depressed or they're trying to figure out where the fuck they're at in their life right now.
Where did this aggression come from?
Because so recently, somebody this is not an art for romance.
Okay.
Just gonna
Sure.
So recently, somebody that I was very interested in. They were going through something and I kind of felt like, holy shit, like, this isn't the best time for me to try to pursue them or whatever. But at the same time, like, I really was like, you know what? Let me dial back. Let me be their friend. Because I feel like that's what they need more now. They don't need like somebody trying to get on their coattails and try to, so be a friend. But then I also realized that I'm at a place in my life that I can't do this anymore with people where it's kind of like, I get that everybody's going through something. I don't have advice anymore. I don't have advice. It's not that I don't care. It's that I realize I care so much that I don't want to care anymore.
He gives, and I quote, 0 fucks.
Well, no, it's not even 0 fucks. And I think this is true. This is something I care so much. Mm-hmm. I personally don't want to care anymore. And there's a lot to say in that because, it's like wearing your heart on your sleeve. It's like, oh, you're going through this, you're going through that. And no matter how much advice you give, no matter how much you open your ear, no matter how much comfort you are there, you can only control yourself. You can't control what those people are going through, even if you want those people to be in better places, even if you want them to be healed. So going back to the holiday season, I feel like I have a lot of people around me who are dealing with things that I want the best for them. And it's out of my control and I can't do anything for them. Like my advice is just advice. It's not something put into action. Yeah. And I get it. What works for me doesn't really work for that person, or it may not be what that person is capable of doing or so forth and so forth. But like, it's just, I don't want that to dampen my holiday season right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of just like...
I think a better approach would be that you're not there necessarily to provide the answers or provide advice, that you're just there. You're there to support them. You're there to listen to them. A lot of times, a lot of people already have the answers in their head. They even know when they're messing up, but they just want that comfort, or they want that person just to listen.
Oh, no. So you're completely right. And that's another reason why I'm like, I need to dial back, because I'm also like, okay, you know what? Some people need friends. People need someone to listen. I know what it's like to feel like, you know what? I'm not being heard. I need just somebody to be there to listen. The issue that I have is when things keep reoccurring. and you're either hearing it or you're a witness to it reoccurring, and you're kind of like, okay, like
This actually goes back to the last episode we were talking about how if someone is in a relationship, whether it's toxic or not, that you talking to them about it and they seem to still stay in there, that then you start to feel like you're not being heard, or there's some level of tension with your friend because you're telling your friend, hey, you shouldn't be with this person or you shouldn't do this situation. So,
well, I think we all go through that. We're like on a friendship level, relationships aside, that we have friends that we listen to. We want to be there for them. We want the best for them as much as we want for ourselves. Not saying that for ourselves, we're in like the great, happiest place of all. No, I think what it is, like, we get so used to looking at the outside of what everybody else is going through that we have better answers for them than we have for ourselves.
of course.
And that's very shitty way of thinking.
Yeah.
But it's a very truthful way of thinking that we do see things for other people more clearer than we see for ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
Sean.
I've been listening this whole time.
so that's another reason
like my
why.
head is on a swivel right now. I'm looking at you at the booth. I'm looking at him right next to me. I'm like, y'all having a very intriguing conversation.
This is the demo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hell with you guys.
I threw a trap in there.
Hey, nice. You threw that trap card.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And he fell right into the trap card.
Whatever. I throw a spell card whenever you activate a trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, too late now. The trap has already been activated. The spell doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it's not that I have zero fucks. And I've been saying that for about maybe 6 months now because of other things going on in my life. But I've just gotten to this point that a new light switch had turned on. And that's, it is okay to care for people. But you also have to know, like, people are one of those areas that are out of your control.
Yeah.
I had a manager when I used to work for TRU, Toys R Us, the old Toys R Us, not that new one.
Lord.
There's a new one, right?
Yeah, in Paramus. I haven't been there yet. I want to go.
Okay.
My manager said to me, Charles, worry about the things that are in your control, and the things that are out of your control, you don't worry about. So now I'm kind of learning how to put things into a better perspective and put people into that same category. The things that are out of your control, a lot of times, or in general, people are out of your control.
Right.
You can't control what people do. Like, you can control, if you allow for yourself to listen to a person, if you allow for yourself to be there for a person, but it also comes with a limitation. What is in your control to say, you know what? I've kind of listened to you. I've kind of heard. I'm going to dial back because I see that you're going to, like myself, if I'm in a situation, and I have to say myself too, because I do this as well. Mm-hmm. You're in a situation where you're going to keep repeating the same patterns. And it's until you learn or you come to terms of what you're in control of how to handle it.
Right.
So yes, I can be that person to listen, but outside of me, there are other people out there who can also listen to you as well. And you don't just need me.
Word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Word life.
So I'm going to take what you said. I'm going to spin it.
Okay.
Because as sound as that is, and I understand, like, you care and, to the point. For me, it's totally different. Okay. And I'm the type of person that will give you sage advice. I will give you, like, whatever advice you should take or whatever advice it should be out there. However, I'm also always the person to say, but at the end of the day, you're going to do what you got to do, and I'm going to be there to help support you.
Oh, no. So that's a fair statement. I won't disagree with that. Once again, and part of that, hey, I need to dial back from listening to you, is also saying that to a person, hey, in the day you're going to do what you have to do. But here's the thing that nobody talks about. When you say, hey,
cheap plug,
when you say, hey, in the end of the day, you're going to do what you're going to do. I then also have to say to myself, I'm going to make the best decisions for myself going forward in relation to the decisions you make for yourself. So, for example, if someone is constantly observing and seeing something that's happening and they're calling it out for what it is, and the person goes back and they just keep continuing the same cycle, as much as you can say to that person, hey, and in the day, you're going to make the same decision. if that person then decides to come back to you or they're having a bad day and you're seeing they're having a bad day and you open up the waterfall to be like, hey, what's going on? And that person begins to tell you a situation and you're kind of like, all right, you know what? I have to be honest now. I can't listen to this anymore because I keep seeing it. I keep giving you my advice. And on top of giving you my advice, we go back to the ending that keeps being the recycle. And the end of the day, you're going to make whatever decision you're going to make. So now it gets to a point where I have to say to myself, yes, and then day, I'm going to respect whatever decision you're going to make. I'm going to be here to support you as a friend. But also as a friend, I'm going to make sure that I put myself first. And that way I'm not always allowing for an outside level of toxicity to come back, because that's what it does become when you keep seeing a level of toxicity from outside and you're like, wait, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And then it keeps coming back to you. And it's like, but it's coming back to you in a way of like, hey, I need to talk to somebody about this situation. And the situation has a clear answer. It's X, Y, and Z.
So here's a story to help you understand the different perspective on that. Okay.
Oh, there's tons of different perspectives.
Right. So, but the clear present example is, when we're talking about the Geektopians, which is available now on YouTube, we're already 4 episodes in. Remember when we were looking at the script?
Yeah.
Okay. And remember I told you there are things that you and Jesse see that I just can't see. Period. Like you guys were telling me about a certain aspect of that script, which I'm not going to go like full detail, but there were certain aspects of that script that you saw that needed to be like, okay, this will make it better. And then there was Jesse who was like, well, you know what? I need to see this differently. You understand? In order to understand what is like where I'm coming from.
I think what you're trying to say is that us humans, we tend to think that we know what is in the other person's head. We tend to, we sometimes we kind of think like we got it all figured out on someone else's end when we don't know what they're thinking about, what perspectives they're coming with. And then we think we can come in and just jump in with our answers or our advice. And it could be so many different variables, so many things happening at once.
So I agree and I disagree. So okay. I don't think it's about knowing what's going on in that person's head. I think if it's a stranger, yes, that applies.
But it's also a disconnecting communication.
I think when it comes to friendship, and you seeing things and you witnessing things and you seeing emotions, you seeing body language, and you picking up on the frustrations, you yourself start to say, okay, what's happening here? And then you start to ask questions. So if you went without asking questions, right, there's a lot of assumptions. Then, yeah, what you're saying, I completely agree with you.
Right.
When there are answers that are given to you, and then every time the situation occurs, it's the same answers and the same responses and the same body language and the same level of frustration. It's no longer about me trying to give you an answer to something that I can't see. It's pretty much you just gave me a book with different episodes, with different chapters, with different parts, sequels. And it's like, dude, like I'm reading the same book that you are telling me, unless there's stuff you're holding out. There's more secrets holding out.
It's possible.
It's always possible. And every time it comes up, more and more secrets come out. And I think this is within any friendship or in any situation. Yeah. More and more stuff come out. But the baseline that's there is that you're seeing a consistent pattern. A consistent pattern, which is concerning. And it's kind of like, I'm here as your friend, and I see these consistent patterns. And I'm glad you brought up the situation with Geektopians.
Right.
So it'd be one thing if it was just me seeing something from my perspective.
Okay.
Right.
But then when you present a situation to another person, and you're getting similar feedback from that person, then it's not just me.
But you know what the worst part about that was?
What?
Yes, there was something like an error regarding the piece, right?
It's not an error. No, it's not an error. It's just, once again, when we're doing script writing.
Right, but okay, so that's the whole gist of it is something felt off, right? But it's weird is the fact that you and Jesse's off were two different offs. You understand? You felt that something in that script needed to be added upon, and Jesse was just like, well, there's a disconnect, period. So you guys did feel the same way about the general piece, but specifically, and this is just going into the general, field, specifically, there can be multiple issues within that one general issue.
Oh no! So all right, once again, and since we're deep diving on this, not to take away from other topics, but yes, with engaging in anything, there are multiple tiers and multiple levels of what's happening.
Right. So
every situation is different. You have some situations that are baseline, which are more like constructive. So as far as the script goes,
right,
like every episode is about us writing and reviewing and making sure like it's well polished before we go to film. That's with the script. Okay. That's with research. That's with anything.
That's with life.
Yes. Same thing with friendship. The differences here is with developing something that is materialistic, like a script or like a construction for a building, is that you're trying to make sure that before you build it, right, that your blueprint is set up. That it's nothing's missing. Electricity's there, water's there, gas there. The foundation is. With friendships, because of time that has passed, you have already established a level of the foundation, such as knowing the person's personality, knowing when the person's lying, knowing when the person's telling you the truth, knowing a goofy smile, knowing a snide comment. We know this as we get closer and closer to the people who in some way become blood or like of kin, right? So with that being said, when that person or people or friends or wives or husbands or family members consistently have issues that are in their lives, as much as you know there are different tiers to those issues, you also know there are solutions to those issues. And some of those solutions, granted, like you said, Hannibal, it may be something that might be one-sided where, yes, that solution might work for you if you were in that situation and your personality allowed for you to have that. I think you're right. Sometimes when we do give advice, we give advice with the best of intent, but we don't think about the differences between how our personality can execute something versus someone else's personality will execute it. I do think, though, in part to that, when we offer advice on a level of a certainty, saying, okay, here's a part of your personality that you're so relaxed in that you don't speak up, I think that's different in a way that it's more like, we see you don't speak up, or we see you don't do this for yourself. We see you don't do that for yourselves. How about you try that? The hardest thing I think that people don't do is say the word no, because nobody wants to seem like they're the bad guy. But if you say that you put yourself first, you say that you speak your mind, you say that you're open, then you're willing to tell a person no. You're willing to say to a person, hey, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. There are different forms of toxic relationships, toxic friendships, toxic communities, whether a geek community, nerd community. If I go on every day and I read a toxic incel post, it's not the incel group that is making me show up every day to read what's happening. It is myself that is choosing to do that. So if somebody who from the outside coming in, who knows of a person situation, not the full situation. They know of the person and how the person handles things and starts to give advice, not based on themselves, but based on what they see that the person is not doing and what can help that person. Then the constructive criticism there isn't, oh, I'm not telling you to do what I would do for myself. I'm telling you what anybody who is awoke or awakened enough or who wants to or who wants to be in a better place would do for themselves.
Okay, so I have a question.
I've spoken a lot.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is E for Emotional, hosted by Charlie Radio Williams.
This is a heavy demo. This
is no longer R for Romance.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Emo Romance.
Okay, so with that idea that you have, let's try to reverse engineer it. So
So thank you. It is my idea. Thank you.
So if
Lord have mercy.
if that happens, right, and you're in a situation where that is happening and things have gone the same, right? Why hasn't it worked? Have you thought about why what I've said hasn't resonated enough for that person to take action? Do you think it's something that you've done all you can? Do you, like you say you have full certainty of the situation and the personal situation?
See, the thing is that I don't think anybody would have full certainty.
That's what I'm
situation.
That's what I'm kind of saying. If you, it's really hard.
Wait, did I use that full certainty? Or
Yes, you
did I
did.
say
You
it?
use the word certainty.
I use the word certainty.
I don't know. Well, certain.
So-
is certain.
Well, to be certain of something means to be like
It's
fully
100%,
knowledgeable.
right? At least near it.
So yes, there is the debate that you can't be fully certain of something, and I'll agree with that. And this isn't me trying to backtrack, but if I said that,
I get it.
But let's be honest. When it comes to close people, there are things you are certain about. And I feel like
Look at
when the
that
argument,
emotion.
when that, I feel like that is a devil's advocate argument. Oh, you can't be fully certain. Okay, when this conversation occurs again in 2 months,
Look at that
and
passion.
3 months,
Yeah.
and 4 months, and a year, then you come back and tell me, oh, what is the certainty? People have habits, and the certainty here we're talking about is not the certainty of what of trying to create something that's not really there. It's the certainty of knowing somebody's habits.
Right.
It's the same way your mother knows, or your mother or your father or people who are close to you, they know your habits. And I go back to facial gesture, body language, the way you communicate, the way you say certain words. I get used to hearing Sean say certain words that to me automatically define something
Amazing.
on a level of linguistics. So if you understand linguistics, if you understand body language, we as a species are adapt to understanding and without fully being aware of what we're understanding, we're used to picking up on body language.
Yep.
So if the certainty here is your body language as communication and it's always consistent and it's always the same, yeah, it's a certainty.
Okay.
Dr. Charlie Radio Williams is
So
here
I
to
will
take
go.
your
I will go.
calls.
Right. I guess I will go with this point here, where you present a point, or at least a call to action, perspective, right?
Yeah.
And you give them the call of action. You should do A, B, and C, and then that person does not do it. It gets to a point where you don't want to repeat yourself, but it could be where that person is just struggling right now. They may know that you may be right. And there's enough trust in that relationship that they know they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And you kind of have to just step back and kind of realize, like, not necessarily put like a chastising kind of way to it, but hey, I know you're struggling with this. Because I have a very personal situation where that person knows exactly what they're doing wrong, but they can't stop it. They can't get out of this relationship.
Oh,
And it's like,
so I'm glad you said that. So, and this is kind of flipping it. Who are you to define that they can or cannot stop it?
well, going by
What I said,
experience.
the experience, right?
Going by experience patterns, like
All
you
right.
said, the pattern. So I agree with you, but I'm just saying, trying to put different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
The pattern of the same thing happening. But if I keep
It's
saying
like
leave,
drugs.
if I keep
It's like
saying
drugs.
you gotta leave and they're not leaving, what else can I? And I understand you, but you're like, well, fuck it all.
it-
I'm
it
Oh,
is
no. So that's where you guys have me confused. When I'm like
zero fucks sounds like
so when I say I have zero fucks, and this is why I keep going back to what I'm saying, like I care so much that I don't want to care anymore.
and you're frustrated.
I'm frustrated,
Yeah,
yes.
yes,
But
I
it's
understand.
frustrated because, and everybody's different. You have people who care to, and I'm only speaking about me. I guess I'm introducing my life. So, and this
Shit.
is who I
This
am.
is this week's. Last week it was me. This week is
Well,
him.
This
Okay.
this is how I am as a person, though. Like all my life, I've known, like, I do wear my heart on my sleeve, and
Right.
I care for each person. Just like it's hard for me to take criticism I prefer you give me feedback and criticism, because I say this to Sean all the time. I say this to Jesse. I say this to my entire team. I can't fix something with myself if you don't bring it to my attention.
But the problem becomes when we tell you,
Mhm.
you still do it,
Oh yeah.
and you don't still realize that you do it
Ah.
after we've told you.
Oh, see, it's good you said that. Understand, I do work towards it, but you can't expect me to change in a day or in a week.
So
or,
what you're saying is give the person patience.
Yes. So wait, and I see how we flip this, right?
Okay,
so yes,
okay.
You give the person patience, right? And I think for myself, and if I haven't, bring it to my attention, let me know. And it just means that I'm always going to be self-critical on myself. That's just me. I can only speak for me. If it's something that I'm not changing, and I hear this stuff from you guys all the time in the background, like, oh, you haven't done this, and it's kind of like, I am working on this. I'm also doing more than the entire squad.
Why is he throwing that?
I'm carrying the team on his back.
Why is he throwing that on?
Because I'm not running around.
Like as if we don't know this.
I'm not running around calling myself the face.
First of all, I did not do that all episode.
Sean is the face.
Yeah, he is the face, though.
I have not done that all episode, and he's just throwing it out.
Not just this episode, other episodes. But what I'm saying is,
I was trying to call this whole. This is Charlie Radio Williams' hour, and he's over here giving it back to me. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So
the face.
We're like going with this, but yes, if you give me the opportunity to work on something, and I think that's fair with any friendship, you have patience and you give them opportunities. What I am saying for myself is, it kind of goes back to what you said, Sean. Yes. And I'm going to take something from both years. Hannibal, you going that, okay, you kind of have to be like, this person is going through something, understand that they're going through something, and they have to figure it out. And then on Sean's level, it's that, yes, everybody, that the person may not see what they're going through. And although the outside can see it, that person doesn't see it. And I've been in situations like that. I was in a relationship that everybody told me that the person I was dating was horrible for me. And I saw what I wanted to see.
The sex must have been really good.
Oh, yes, it was.
Okay. See, sex makes you so blind.
But
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next time.
But in part to that, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, Sean, I'm here for you, but right now I can't listen. There's nothing wrong with that.
I can. At least there's the honesty there. There's some trust there, right?
What kind of friend are you?
Think about it like this, right? We want people to always be there, but sometimes you have to be. Somebody said it best. We are not born here to save anybody.
Speak for yourself. Okay.
Right. So as much as we want to open up and listen to everything that a person is going through, we don't always want to listen to the same to the same thing.
Yep.
We don't always want to listen to you got stabbed? How did you get stabbed? Really? By doing the same thing you did the last 20 times you got stabbed. Oh, I guess you just like getting stabbed.
All right, there are just certain degrees of the situations, Charles. Okay.
I mean,
getting stabbed on drugs.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like this stabbed on drugs.
You may have to do more
stabbed
support.
Stabbed while, avoiding a home invasion. Yeah. I mean, there's different levels of stabbing here.
We're talking I mean,
stabbed during sex. I mean, believe me.
No, we're not speaking about that level. We're speaking about people who consistently do the same routines and have the same outcomes.
Which makes it like you make
the same routine.
I think we're all saying the same thing, but a little differently.
You know what? And that's the beauty of this, because there's so many different perspectives. And like I was saying, there's so many different perspectives to the same ideology. Right. But at the end of the day, you are still being supportive of your friend. Yeah. Despite everything going on.
Yeah, you can say, "Hey, friend, I'm so frustrated, but I still love you. I still care about you, but I'm frustrated, and I'm like, I guess
for me, I'm very patient because, like, say for example, when me and my brother, we always get into arguments and stuff like that, and whenever he asks for advice, and I always tell him, like, look, this is what's really going on. You really need to stop. And I'm very patient. I'm just like, well, you see it. I already showed you. I already said it. You see it. You're still there. All right. Do you? Okay.
And raising kids, they think they know everything.
Oh,
like you'll sit there and you'll say, "Don't do this because this will happen," and they'll like, oh, "Fuck you! I know. I'm not to my face. You better not do it to my face." But they have to learn, like you were saying earlier, through experience. They're gonna have to experience it enough, and then this hopefully the switch turns on. But then when they come to you and say, "I've done this," instead of saying, "Oh, I told you so," you come like, "Good job."
I think the other factor that we're not talking about, right, is to the point where, you're as a friend, you have a certain distance with your friend because you care about them and stuff, but you don't want to see them get hurt. So you're just like, you know what? You do you. I've given you the advice, but you're still gonna do you. Fine. There's another factor that we haven't spoken about, and it's the fact of actually hurting your friend. Right? It comes to, and it's to for someone like myself who's very emotional, seeing someone literally get hurt because you either betrayed their trust or do whatever, and X, Y, and Z. That also can be considered an awakening factor. So a person may do the same shit over and over again, but then it comes to the point where when they realize the person closest to them gets hurt as a result, that's when the light bulb hits.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, it's always some kind of, I want to say cataclysmic, but it's
a
always
rock
some
bottom
kind of
moment.
Yeah, it's
maybe.
always that rock bottom moment where and I'm talking to all Geektopians out there, because I know there's a lot of people out there that have had the rock bottom moments, and they always felt like the most depressed because they always feel like people have abandoned them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's not the case. And, that's what I understand what you're saying, where you have to be a friend to them, but you got to let them do their thing. But from what I'm saying is that when they don't realize what they're doing, even though you tell them, it's because they themselves legit don't know it until they have to really face that problem head on.
So we all know one of my biggest problems is being too analytical and too critical.
Okay.
I look at it like this. Either you're a child, you're a teenager, or you're an adult.
Okay.
And although there are different levels of being an adult,
okay,
there are certain things that being an adult requires of us.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is self-maintenance, mentally, physically, how we present ourselves, how we socialize, how we define ourselves, the space that we define around us, those that we bring into our personal lives, and those that we let go out of our personal lives. Just like not every parent is a parent, not every adult is an adult.
Okay.
And when it comes to friendships and understanding that, a lot of times you'll look and you'll see somebody and you'll be like, you know what? For somebody who is supposed to be an adult, for somebody who carries themselves in a adult figure, as an adult figure, you don't act like an adult. You don't put yourself not before people, because I do believe you should put yourself before people. The reason you should put yourself before people, how can you take care of anyone else if you haven't taken care of yourself?
Makes sense.
If you don't take care of yourself mentally, financially, spiritually, no matter how you look at it, and you're always putting others forward, how do you take care of yourself? When you are able to take care of yourself and see the things that work and don't work and give your own testimonials, not saying that that's what everybody should do, then you can be there for other people. But when you aren't there for yourself and you're trying to be there for other people, and then you don't see that people in general or friends have their own habits. Everybody has their own motives. I hate thinking that way, that everyone has their own motives, but our friends have motives. It may not be something that's out in the open. It may not always be something that's there. It may not be, hey, let me borrow this. Hey, let me stay over. Hey, I just need an ear to chat in. But we have motives. Some with good intentions, some with bad intentions, some just with simple intentions.
Okay.
But we have them. The thing is, when you're an adult or you're becoming an adult, and I take this from my mentor that passed recently, when you're becoming an adult, there's things that you as a person showcase. There's an aura that's around you. There's a level of positivity that's around you. And when you are around people and you wonder, well, why is it people look at me this way? Why is it I attract this form of attention? You have to step back and evaluate yourself and say, okay, what have I been doing wrong? Not what has the world been doing wrong? What is it that not what hasn't been owed to me or I haven't gotten in life? What am I personally doing that needs to work on? So, for example, at the very start of this conversation, I said, I don't feel my sexiest, right? I don't blame that on the world. I blame that on my own habits. I blame that on, me not getting proper sleep. I blame that on me not eating well. I blame that on me. But that's something that is in my control. I can take care of. Same thing. If I'm dealing with somebody, if I'm dealing with myself, how do I then listen to you talk about what's going on in your life? Uh-huh. I got to say to you, hey, you know what? Right now, I'm going through something. As much as I want to be here for you, I can't be here for you. And that's okay. So that's when I say, when I say zero fucks, I mean more of, I'm going to care because I naturally care. I can't just turn it off. But I'm going to make sure that I put myself forward and I lead by an example.
Okay.
So on that note, what he just basically said is this sexy beast right here.
Yeah, I was going to say really quick. I think me and Sean agree. Charles, you're very sexy.
You're a sexy beast.
Right
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Hey, what are you talking about?
But that's just one.
Turn around.
You're a sexy beast.
Turn around,
look at
Charles.
that. Look at that. Look at that ass right there. Look at that ass.
But
Watch me twerk. Watch me. Hey.
I think it's more so the fact of what Charles is saying, and C is for Charles.
The C is for Charles' show, where he talks about relationships.
In the neighborhood
Is that he
lives downstairs and he's misunderstood. He's here just to take good care of me, like he's one of the family.
Charles.
Of our days and our...
Okay, you done?
I'm done.
All right, so this sexy beast gives a single fuck.
Yeah, he gives fucks. I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know. He doesn't give zero fucks. He gives a single fuck.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, he still cares about whoever he's talking to.
Yeah.
You understand? Whether he's trying to get buns from that person or not.
I'm a walking contradiction.
I think we all
we're human. We're all walking
we're walking contradictions.
We're all humans and we're all going through a story. We're all going through something and our stories don't line up in terms of the same speed. Some people learn things later than others. Yeah. And as long as we're here to back each other up, we'll be fine.
Yeah, that's very true.
You sexy motherfucker.
Sexy motherfucker.
Talking to you, Charles.
Ooh.
Look at me.
Listen, you can back a person up. The definition of how you back them up is what comes to question. But that's you
could discuss that in your next episode, your show, your new show.
When you do, you know what? Don't you have a podcast coming out?
Yeah,
I know. I don't have a podcast coming out.
Put in the plug. Put in the plug.
No.
Plug in that podcast.
So if you're listening to this episode, Hannibal is going to be coming up with his podcast, which we're working
Charles,
on.
you spoke for about an hour.
Yeah, dang, we're hitting the 40-minute mark, and this has literally been the F is for friendship.
This was a Geektopian special.
The Charles special.
No, we need to. Oh, word. Okay, I'm gonna wait until you have your episode. All right, whatever.
You mean
I have no feelings.
You mean the Star Wars episode? Because that thing.
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
Did you watch?
He didn't watch The Mandalorian. Just keep going.
No, I'm not gonna lie.
He still hasn't watched it.
I haven't watched it.
Well, he still hasn't watched it. We're like 5-6 episodes in. He still hasn't watched it.
So when someone says you have to watch this show and they don't watch it,
that's the hipster in him. The hipster in him comes out. So he's like, no, that's too mainstream.
Should we just continue to support him?
That's the.
Or we say we're not giving him.
We will always support him.
I'm here. Am I not? I mean, that was the zero fucks there. You guys said I have to, and I was like zero fuck.
Unbelievable.
But I guarantee you, when Picard comes out, he'll be the first one to watch that shit.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Hopefully,
maybe
he will.
I still haven't seen Discovery.
No one's watched Discovery, so it's fine.
You binge watching Discovery?
No, I was been watching YouTube clips of Discovery. Big difference.
Oh, he wasn't willing to sacrifice that money for CBS access.
Nope.
All right.
I will sacrifice that money for Picard though. That's my granddaddy.
Now you know how I feel about this Disney Plus thing.
No. There's a difference.
Back in my day, we had VHS.
No. There's a difference. CBS All Access doesn't really have much.
Back in my day,
Disney Plus has a plethora of stuff you can watch.
Back in my day, we didn't stream. We walked 5 miles to the nearest Blockbuster. 5 free rentals.
When did?
Oh no, I worked for Blockbuster. So
when did the 1990s become the Old West?
Back in my day, we didn't have fades. We had high tops.
He got there in Horace. He pitched his Horace walked in, got the Blockbuster.
You kids and your iPads. We had Walkmans. You'll never know about rewinding a cassette tape with a pencil.
Oh, this is just turned into a totally different episode than the episode.
Back in my day.
Well, this is Charles' new show. So
yeah.
Anything else you want to add, Charles?
Back in my day, comic books was made out of quality paper.
It still is.
Not that high gloss paper.
Yeah, it's called recycling.
Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
You out of steam?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And with that
Back
being
in my
said-
day, Seanluc had hair.
Oh, see, now that's just fucking done. That's it.
You should snuff him right.
Back in my day,
Nah, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get Jet because Jet's been waiting to snuff him.
Back in my day, Seanluc had hair. It was luxurious. It ran down his back.
Oh my god, yo,
Is speaking over there?
All right.
ladies and gentlemen,
Copying that up.
this has been another wonderful episode of the C is for Charles. I mean G is for Geek podcast. This is Seanluc.
Are we going out of order?
Yes, we're going out of order because apparently you decided to take the spotlight on
Back
this
in
one.
my day, we went in order. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in,
Oh, Lord.
this is your broadcaster, Charlie Radio Williams.
Really?
And
Really? I think we need the proper mics for that.
This is your broadcaster, Charlie
We
Radio
don't need
Williams.
we need better microphones. We need better microphones for that.
Should
If we're gonna,
I just put an N Hannibal right now, or
Yes,
go
please.
totally out of order?
or you could just say this has been Hannibal dealing with these two babies. It's
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for listening to another episode of the G's for Geek podcast. This is your host, Charlie Radio Williams.
fine. And Seanluc.
And Hannibal.
And this
unfortunately.
episode has been brought to you by Camel Cigarettes.
Hell no, it is not. Hell, motherfather and no. Okay, this is brought to you by Sketchfed Studios, a non-cigarette company.
After every show, I have me a pack of Camels.
We are not promoting smoking. I'm actually against smoking, but that's for another.
It is the
episode.
1960s.
Okay.
really
Until then, just send us out of here, please.
And we are out of here.
Oh my fucking god.
The G is for Geek podcast with Charlie Radio Williams and Seanluc is a presentation of Sketchfed Studios, produced by Charlie Williams and edited by Hannibal Darby. To find more episodes of the G is for Geek podcast, make sure you check them out at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever else your podcast needs. If you need to hear Charlie Radio Williams and Seanluc shoot the shit on any of your topics or questions, please send a tweet to the two geeks on Twitter, or you can send a message on Instagram for the Geektopians. For web series, podcasts, blogs, and more, please make sure to head over to sketchfedstudios.com. And as always, stay geeky, stay you.